Welcome to Austin Tech Connect, the official podcast of the Austin Technology Council. Presented to you by Netspend. Homegrown in Austin, Netspend has been a leading provider of consumer and business payment solutions for almost 25 years. From prepaid cards to mobile bank accounts to money movement services, Netspend connects people, brands, and payment products to deliver innovative financial solutions.
Hey everybody, and welcome to Austin Tech Connect, the podcast about the future of Austin's technology community. My name is Tom Singer, and I am with the Austin Technology Council, and we started this podcast a year ago to be able to bring you interesting interviews with people who are doing fascinating things around our tech ecosystem. Normally, we talk to people about their companies, how they're growing them, but today we have a special episode, and in fact, we have 3 guests today, 2 of which have been on the show before. However, they are here as the hosts and as the Austin co-chair for World Logic Day, which is taking place in Austin on January 21st, 2024. So I welcome to the show Emily Gupton, Chris Fronda, and Chelsea Toler. How's everybody doing? Welcome.
Doing great. Thank you for having us.
So Chris, why don't you and Chelsea tell everybody who you are in your day jobs, and then we'll jump into World Logic Day.
So Chelsea here as the co-founder and chief impact officer for Logictry. And one of the things that I love getting to do with Logictry is talk about fascinating logic, but also look for opportunities that we can create impact together in the world and leverage our technology to help our community partners.
Nice. And Chris?
Yeah, and Chris Fronda, the chief logic officer. And as you can probably guess by the name, love all things logic. And we like, my background and what I've been passionate about is anytime I can take a really complicated topic that's hard for anyone to understand and make it accessible, I love seeing that impact. And so that's what we're here today to talk about.
Nice. And if you go back a couple of months, you can listen to the interview with Chris that goes very deep about his company, Logictry. Also joining us is Emily Gupton. Emily, tell us about yourself.
Yeah. Hey, Tom. So glad to be back. I am COO of a company here in Austin called Folio. We're a tech product. And then I'm also deeply passionate about community and community engagement, which is why I'm here as the co-chair for World Logic Day. I run community partnerships for Austin Women in Technology. And then I am also the director of technology for the League of Women Voters. So lots of community things happening.
Nice. And you are a perfect example of somebody who cares about bringing people in the community together to collaborate and to talk about important things. And if you want to hear Emily's episode, I think it was back in May, and we talked all about Austin Women in Technology. So you can go check that out in the archives of Austin Tech Connect. So I want to jump into this whole idea of what is World Logic Day and why is it taking place in Austin?
So World Logic Day was started by a logician, which I'm going to ask Chris to say the name of.
Jean-Yves Bijou.
Thank you.
Yeah, I couldn't have said that, so that's right.
And we've actually had the pleasure of meeting with him, but it started as a passion of his where he wanted more logic to be understood in the world. And so he actually partnered and received recognition from UNESCO to get World Logic Day approved and in partnership with the UN. It happens in 33 different countries all over the world with a concept of better logic to help drive world peace, better understanding, and more rational thinking in a time in a future that we need more collaboration, we need more world peace, we need tools like logic that can help us understand different perspectives. So we're very fortunate to be able to serve as the only corporate partner for the United States. And it's really fun to be able to bring a lot of our local partners, but then also global partners to our hometown, or my hometown of Austin, Texas.
So this takes place all over the world in the month of January, but many of the things are on different days. And I think you said most of them, or all of the others, are taking place and being run out of academic institutions. So Chris, can you tell us about that? And then can you tell us, how did you end up as a corporate partner with the UN for this initiative?
Yep. Yeah. So yes, it is taking place usually with the philosophy departments or the mathematics department. And, the Swiss logician that founded it, he is... A lot of the focus for the other initiatives are very technical. It's very much about getting into the weeds and the very technical nuances of the field of logic. But the other side of it, which is really what we're focused on, is how that intersects with everyone in our daily lives. And what that means is it intersects in making good decisions. So how do we apply logic in our daily lives, making the best possible decisions, which leads to the best possible outcomes for us? That's really where we have that interest. And how we became the partner, maybe part of it was we had a name called Logictry, but the real reason is actually, I'll have Chelsea mention about that, but it's actually because of Chelsea's relationship and past with the UN.
So I've been really grateful and fortunate to have worked with a few different organizations like UN Global Schools and UN Sustainable Development Solutions Network over several years, and learned through research about possibly starting a Logic Day that the UN actually had a World Logic Day. And so reached out to some of the organizations that I knew to see, could we partner? Could we bring something like this a little bit differently to Austin in the US? And we're grateful that they jumped on board. We're also really grateful for the Long Center for believing in this early. We have a goal that we hope you all join us in of over 1,500 registrants, and then we'll be in Dell Hall at the Long Center for our second year with them. But wanted to just kind of answer your question. The United Nations, really looked for a different strategy rather than within academic institutions to use logic to bring different communities like Austin Technology Council, like Austin Women in Technology, like the Executive Council Network, like Div Inc., right? All of some of the familiar community leaders that you'll know. Can we use logic to bring better questions and collaboration together in our city and globally?
Nice. And earlier, Chelsea, you had mentioned that one of the goals of World Logic Day is to help promote world peace. So I'm going to press you guys a little bit. How does logic help with world peace?
Good.
So particularly to the UN Sustainable Development Goals, World Logic Day is looking at world peace, Sustainable Development Goal 16, and then better collaboration for the goals, SDG 17. I think Chris can really provide a more expert perspective on why logic for addressing those goals, but on a surface level, asking better questions and preserving the importance of protecting humanity and critical thinking, especially with waves in AI, is more important now than ever. But Chris, do you want to share specifically why logic?
Yeah, Chris, why logic?
Yeah, so I think the simplest way to think of it is logic is really just a tool to, try to break down how to make the best decision. And so that's why, when we look at, how people, try to make the best choices in their lives, how we also similarly understand other people and how they make different decisions or different choices. And through that understanding, we might gain more empathy and more understanding of one another. So we see that logic as this tool to say, okay, let me understand, your logic, for lack of a better way to say that, of why you've made this decision or why you believe this certain thing. And then through that process, actually gaining empathy and understanding of the other person. So it's really about just a deeper understanding of one another and why we make the choices that we do.
And I want to come back to this. I don't want to touch on it right now, but Logictry has created a tool called logic.wiki, and I want to talk about that in a few minutes. But first, I want to go to Emily, because one of the things that has been said so far, and one of the things I know about this event, is that it's all about collaboration and bringing people together and bringing the community together. And so in your role as, the co-chair for Austin, Emily, what are your thoughts about how World Logic Day helps bring this whole community together and getting the different organizations and the different leaders involved?
Yeah. So related to World Logic Day, we've got some really incredible community partners and initiatives and folks in Austin and beyond, where we're going to showcase some examples of using logic to drive better decisions or information for the Austin community and beyond. So really excited about that, and helping Chelsea and Chris and the rest of the team work with those groups, right? And with Austin Women in Technology, we're obviously deeply passionate about community networking, leadership, growing skills and stuff like that. So how do we get all of these communities together in Austin who are passionate about bettering one another, bettering Austin, really on board with the overall mission and goals of the UN and the 2 SDGs, and then also what Logictry is doing related to making better decisions, preserving critical thinking, all of those things, bring them together to drive awareness of this. And, we spend a lot of time, like the Austin Forum, talking about AI and the scariness of that, but also the excitement. And so I think that there's going to be some really interesting and amazing ways that we're going to be able to showcase how we can all do better together and for a brighter future.
Well, and I mean, anybody who knows me knows that, my taglines are community, collaboration, and conversations can solve all problems. So obviously this fits straight into this, but also the Austin Technology Council for the last year has been working really hard to say yes to all of the other organizations that touch our tech community, our business community, and beyond. And Emily, Austin Women in Technology has been one of the four leaders of this idea of nonprofits working together to better the good for everybody, to raise that ship so that all tides can go on. So we all believe on this call, the future is collaboration. So Emily, what do you need from the Austin tech community overall to be able to make this event a success and to bring everybody closer together?
Yeah, for sure. Would love everyone listening. Please go register, join us and collaborate with us and get excited for what's coming in January. So that would definitely be one of my asks. And I know that Chris is going to talk about the Logic Wiki initiative. And we're always looking for partners there to drive, the best information for people using the Wiki platform. So those would be my two asks, and would love for Chelsea and Chris to chime in on any additional things for the tech community at large.
I would say whether it's World Logic Day or our commitment to impact with logic.wiki, we also want to help drive collaboration by seeing how we can shine a light on the other work of the organizations and community leaders here in Austin, nationally and globally. And so for us, whether that's through our platform and our logic.wiki, where we, yes, want to highlight you as a community and your resources and drive more people to the communities that you're building, it's also about, being in person at World Logic Day and, asking tough questions. And we're going to offer a few interactive workshop sessions on the 19th as well, thanks to CBRE, where we get to dive into hard problems like climate, like sustainability, like AI and the responsibility of AI. So just inviting you all to share what you love. And we want to be a partner that helps amplify the work that you do.
Nice. So let's talk about what's going to go on that day. What are the, you mentioned a couple of interactive activities. Who are the speakers? What else can people expect to find if they show up in person at this event?
So shout out to Emily for curating an awesome group of speakers, of workshop sessions, of helping us get really organized. I actually had a couple of client calls this last week where they went on the website and their response was, I didn't know you guys had an event management arm. And that was really powered by the work of Emily and the other co-chairs that we're excited to have with us this year. So you can go to www.worldlogicday.com and see a list of all of the speakers for day 3. We'll soon release more information about the special workshops on day 1, but you'll intentionally see a mix of local Austin leaders like Preston James or Ruben Cantu, but paired with global leaders like the head of UN Global Schools, Amanda Abram, or even I think we have a content and future of content panel led by Austin local community leader Jacqueline Brennan, but then in partnership with YouTube. So some really cool interactions and examples of local global models and the power of partnership.
And I think one of my favorite things about that is it's a mix of unique and interesting people, companies, thought leadership coming together, which is what really excites me about this. It touches on all backgrounds. And Tom, we've talked about this, having representation from everyone. I think that the team's done a great job of pulling that together. So you're not hearing necessarily from familiar faces. This is going to have an impact across different states, countries, and representation from all that here to talk about these things.
Yeah, and I'll mention too, one other thread that I'm pretty excited about is, during the event, we have a panel called Strategic Decision Making, and really excited that Eric Bickel, who leads the strategic decision making at UT, so the whole course that really teaches about how to make really good, solid decisions. He's going to talk about, what is a decision? How do we go through the process? How do we know if we've made the best decision? And how do we measure the impact that decision had? So excited for that. One thing to mention, 2 days prior on January 19th, we do have another event that is a hands-on workshop about logic modeling. And that's actually going through applying decision-making in a applied workshop project-based scenario. And then just the last thing I'll mention, the logic.wiki, we will be talking a lot about it, about the initiative there. And, we view the logic.wiki as this online tool, a free resource that will just always be there if you need, a second opinion or some help going through a difficult decision. We're going to have this as an online available resource for everyone to use.
Nice. And Emily, as you've been asking people, I know, you sent me an email saying, would you moderate a panel at this thing? And I think I said yes within like a second, because anyone smart in the Austin tech community just says yes to Emily Gupton when she asks you for a favor. What has been the response of everybody else in town? Are you getting everybody saying yes right away? Or are there some people who are going, I don't get what this is?
That's an interesting question. And I think maybe all of us over here in the UN World Logic Day camp can probably answer that. But, the community of Austin and who I work with for AWT and talking about that, everybody's really amazing and may have had a couple questions to say, how can I be involved or help me understand the impact that this is going to have? But really and truly, the partners that we have through Austin Women in Technology and just the tech community generally that I've fostered relationships with are on board because they see the value of the collaboration and working together and like, how do we build a brighter future together? And so, it's been really, really great. I haven't had anybody say no, which is really exciting, but I love all of y'all dearly and value you and want you to participate and be there. And I'm so excited. And thank you, Tom.
So
I'm blushing.
Well, no, I know you do great work. So we've talked about the day is January 21st. Chris, you made reference and Chelsea made reference to 2 days before January 19th. What else is going on? It sounds like there's actually 3 days of stuff. What's happening on the 19th and 20th?
Sure. So on the 19th, I don't know if you've ever been to a conference, but sometimes it can be a lot of information to take in and to hear panels 24/7. And while that's really exciting, we wanted to create a unique space where the tough questions could be asked. We could, look at as a community here in Austin, but also some of our friends that are coming in from different parts of the world. How are we addressing some of these really tough challenges of our times, and what can we do to better support one another? And we wanted to create the space for those conversations. So if you go to worldlogicday.com, you can kind of choose your own adventure. You can come join us on the 19th. You could come join us on the 21st. We actually have a great community partner called Intergen.Family that's even for family offices and philanthropists, leading a few workshops on the 20th. So lots to do. So my recommendation would be block off your 19th through your 21st and kind of choose the sessions and the path that best suits you and where you are in your career and your community goals.
Yeah, and I'll put a quick plug on the 19th, just talking a little bit on that. We're going to go through a logic modeling exercise with some people who are trained logic modelers, and that's what they do as a profession. So some of the examples of where that applies, they work with startup founders that really need to evaluate the idea and the assumptions of, do they have the product market fit? Do they, what money do they need to raise to bring it to market? Is the money going to be enough? And all of the other assumptions, how do they really work through that? Or they work with nonprofits to ensure that the impact that they want to deliver similarly, they've thought through all of the budgetary needs and, who the stakeholders are that are going to need to sign off on it. So it's really this applied workshop that, and it goes all the way even into enterprise corporate decision makers. So there's something for everyone from startup founder to nonprofit to enterprise corporate decision maker. This workshop will be about how to apply decision-making and logic modeling to make better decisions. And then, the 21st will be a lot of just sessions around it, being applied in different fields by experts in those fields.
I want to just add a thank you specifically to our logic facilitation partner with YOUnify and Brandyn Keating. She actually was a part of handling the state director and being a state director for the Obama campaign. And so she is an attorney, but also really cares about logic and how to apply those frameworks even on a city or policy related level. So we're very grateful to have her come into Austin to participate in that. And then also Natalie, who is here in Austin, who looks and helps nonprofits all the time think about logic for grant making.
Nice. So Chris, I'm going to go to you for this because we've made reference to it now twice throughout this conversation. What is Logic.wiki? How did it come about? And why would somebody care about this product that you've put together?
Well, I think it's, I recently, forget what show it was that I saw this on recently, but the person said that a man's life or a person's life is the sum of their choices, the sum of their decisions. And, I think about how if, one of the bright possibilities with tools like, Logic.wiki and AI is if we have things that the next generation can have access to tools that helps them through these choices through life, better evaluating them, making less of the mistakes that I've made in my past, because I simply didn't have the right information, or I didn't know, I didn't know what I didn't know, and I didn't know how to think through the problem, and just what it could have been like to have something that aided me through that. And so that's really, what Logic.wiki is about is, really helping people make the best choices for themselves.
So I was at an event where I got to see sort of a live demonstration. I was plucked out of the audience as one of the people who we proceeded to use Logic.wiki to ask some questions to solve a problem. How do people use it, and why is it different than just talking to ChatGPT?
Yeah, so ChatGPT, it requires, so a couple of things. One, ChatGPT is, one company's AI, and we actually aggregate all of them. And so as we aggregate all of them, we use ranking systems to figure out which ones are creating the best, recommendations. And then the second, and maybe the most important part, is that when you ask ChatGPT a question, and, you may hear the ChatGPT creators talk about how, it's 160 IQ, right? And how it puts, it's very, very smart and intelligent. But at the same time, if you actually put in bad information, it gives you really bad information back. And so it doesn't give you the best recommendation if you don't frame it properly. And so really that's what we're doing with Logic.wiki is making sure that anyone that asks a question on our wiki, we are going to do the very best that we can to make sure we give the best possible recommendation, no matter what topic it is.
So I find it kind of fun to play with. And so how can people play with it? Is there a cost? Why don't you tell everybody where they can find it and what they can do right now when they finish listening to this podcast?
Yeah, so free to use, just go to logic.wiki and you can ask anything you want, frame it like a decision. So you could say something like, what running shoes should I buy? Or what should I buy my mom for Christmas? Or where should I travel next? And then once you search for it, there should be a button at the top that says generate the answer with AI. And then you'll see what it does. So it'll create something that walks you through how to make that decision.
I will just share, Chris kind of mentioned his passion earlier for taking really complex things and making them simple. And so one of the things that we've built with Logic.wiki and we're excited about is AI can be really scary. And a lot of people are, nervous about what, how am I going to learn this? Or what are my kids going to, know that I don't know? Or all of these things. We're kind of in this time of uncertainty. And so even to your point, Tom, with Logic.wiki, we're trying to remind humanity that this is a fun, innovative time, and we just have to work together to make sure that the innovation is paired with guardrails that protect against safety. But let's start that conversation together, and let's build companies that allow for the next wave of technology to be accessible and fun.
Awesome. Well, since I've started hanging out with the three of you, I've tried to look at the word logic different and how we apply it into everything that we do. I'm still a newbie. So if somebody is thinking, I just don't get it, can you connect the dots for somebody who is like, I don't understand what we're trying to accomplish, both with Logic.wiki, but also with World Logic Day. Let's encourage people to understand this just a little more before we end this interview.
Yeah, so I think some of it will be around democracy and how we make decisions on voting and how we come to better understand others that may vote and hold a different political position than we do. And how
those people exist who have different political ideas,
right? Yep. And and then sometimes it's also about how I don't know if anybody else has experienced this, but sometimes knowing which way to vote on a certain issue can also be complicated and sort of defeating. And you might not feel like, well, you're informed enough for your vote to matter. But what if we start to build some tools and work together and collaborate to ensure that everyone's vote matters? And I think those are some of the things that we see there. And then I think that the other part of it that's really important for us is just is having kind of access to again the tools that can help really in any decision. So it just helps with if you're looking at what job to take and where to other things like that can have such an impact on your life. I think we want to help see to it that through this experience with our tool and also this day, as we really have some amazing speakers talking about decision making, how do we help everyone learn from some of the best decision makers on that?
Well, and what I'm learning is that using logic when you're making decisions is really important. And I think that what you're teaching people here is very valuable. So one of the most important decisions people listening can make right now is, should I attend World Logic Day? So if they're making the decision, they're being very logical. They said, I understand it. I get it. I want to be there. You guys want over 1,500 people in the Austin community to come out to the Long Center and be part of this day on January 21st. Let's say we get 2,000 people. We cram the place full. Let's use our crystal ball. What do you want to feel on January 22nd? How do you know this was a great success? And I want to hear from all three of you.
I would love to feel that every single person in the room gains access to what they need to make a difference, to follow their passion, and to dive into a better future and creating a better future together. That you're one contact, one, coffee, one ask, one connection and or resource away from being able to dream big. And I think Austin has always dreamed a little bigger and fought hard. We're a small but mighty city and growing, and I can't wait to see what happens on January 21st.
I think for myself, I would want people to walk away feeling excited and empowered and like they found a friend and made meaningful connections with somebody that they haven't met before, whether that's from Austin or from a global partner that's present. But really leaving feeling excited about the future and what it could hold, and excited to take action on something to get us there.
Yeah, and I would want to see hopefully that people are inspired by the positive things that can happen with AI and also with collaboration and with all the partners that we have there and other partners that are yet to come, and then also just inspired that people that might feel that that they might not have some of the opportunities that they wish they could have. Well, we want to help see that's not how people feel. All of our initiatives will be around helping people feel like they can do more and that they matter, and that we're doing our part to build anything we can to help in that initiative.
Nice. Well, if somebody hears this and they want to get involved, maybe their company wants to support it, maybe their organization isn't already involved and they'd like to find a way to support it, how can people get involved as a supporter of World Logic Day?
So you can join, as I think we have at this point over 50 community partners, which we're really excited about. You can see those community partners. Obviously, Austin Technology Council and Austin Women in Technology are both on that list. If you go to www.worldlogicday.com, we'll share with Tom an email where you can look at our sponsorship deck, our community partnership deck, it's a really easy lift. Being a community partner is just sharing about the day and having some of your community either attend or speak or run a workshop and just join us. But it's really just an invitation in any way that you can to be a part of this new Austin and this new future. And the future is impact. The future is innovative technology, and the future is working together.
Well, thank you to the three of you, Chelsea, Chris, and Emily, for being here on Austin Tech Connect. And thank you for everything that you're doing on this event and everything that you all do throughout the whole community here in Austin. You know, the Austin Technology Council is really happy to be on board as a community partner, supporting and promoting World Logic Day in Austin on January 21st, 2024. So please, 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 if you're listening to this, go get signed up. Make sure you attend. Come and meet Chris, Chelsea, Emily in person at that event, and everyone else in the community who is going to cram that room full at the Long Center. So everybody, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having us.
Hey, and if you're listening to the show, make sure that you're supporting the Austin Technology Council. You know what? We're here for you. The Austin Technology Council is going back to our roots. We're trying to become that grassroots organization that we were 30 years ago. But we can't be a grassroots organization if the grassroots doesn't stand up and lend their voice to our efforts. Make sure that your tech company is a member of the Austin Technology Council. You can find us at austintechnologycouncil.org.
Thanks for listening to the Austin Tech Connect podcast. Make sure your company is a member of the Austin Technology Council and add your voice to the future of our tech ecosystem in Central Texas.